Forward. Perfect. All right, so tonight I wanted to talk about Shakeology, and what I'm personally trying to do more of in our challenge groups is talk a bit more about it. And so often when new coaches join the team, they are a little bit hesitant of talking about Shakeology, or not really sure what to say. They don't want to say something wrong. Somebody wants information about it. And so typically my response is always give them your personal opinion. Why did you start using Shakeology? What did it help you with? Why have you chose it over others? And so I just kind of say, give your personal experience, because people don't want facts. And it's totally true. And typically when I'm talking to somebody about doing a challenge group and about Shakeology, I'm not going to give them facts. I'm going to tell them why I've chosen the product, what it helps me with. But I do think in order to gain more confidence that it's important to know about the product itself. So that way you kind of tweak what you're saying differently. Or if you do have somebody that's like, okay, I need like specifics, I need stuff written down, which out of, all the people that I've helped, I have maybe 1% that's like, okay, I need it. Can you send me something where I can sit and read it over? So I'm going to show you guys tonight where to get material like that at. But with Shakeology, the things that I really try to touch on with people is ingredients. And so when people are like, they want to know, okay, can you tell me what the calories are in that? I've had somebody ask me that. Can you tell me what the calories are in that? I will say, the calories are this, but you got to keep in mind when you're looking at something like a supplement, you don't want to focus on calories. You want to read the ingredients because you want to know what's going in your body. When it comes to when you begin the portion control, it's going to be counted as a red container. We're not going to be counting calories. And Shakeology actually is still really low in calories, but I also try to explain, hey, if you found something that's lower in calories than Shakeology, check out the ingredients, because I guarantee you that it has some kind of artificial sweetener, flavor, whatever. And so I always put emphasis on to ingredients, because to me, when I choose my food or when I buy organic, those are the things that I'm looking at. I want to know what specifically is going into my body. And I think often when we're talking to people, they're not focused on that. They're like Chris and I used to be when we were buying our lean cuisines and we were flipping over the box and we were looking at we were looking at the calories and the fat grams, or we were buying 100-calorie packs and using those as our snacks. We weren't really focusing on if it was clean, if it was nourishing our body. We were focusing on the calorie intake. And so if you would have asked the old us, we would have asked that same question. Well, what's the calorie in this shake? And we wouldn't have looked at the ingredients. We would have compared, the calorie in this compared to another calorie over there. So I always want to make sure that they are looking in the ingredients. And then the things that you want to look for in Shakeology, and what I always point out to people is there is nothing artificial in it. No artificial flavor, colors, or sweeteners. Sucralose is an artificial sweetener that you will find frequently in a lot of things. It's even in some of the Quest bars, which are the ones that I typically try to stay away from, but it is an artificial sweetener. And you often see that in other shakes as a hidden artificial sweetener. They'll title it as sucralose, right? Am I saying that right? So I point that out too. And then I also point out that there is no soy in it. There is a lot of soy that is in other shakes. Soy is typically the most genetically modified crop in America. And it's also, if you guys have ever done research on soy, which somebody actually brought this to our attention, soy is, do you want to explain soy? How it's not very good for your hormones at all.
Especially for men too. It promotes, estrogen. It's not good for testosterone. So, somebody pointed that out to me years ago because I was talking about tofu. And then, told us about that. Then we started reading a little more. Then we were looking at the shake that I was actually getting from GNC, which had soy in it. And we were just stopped immediately. So.
And, I always tell people because, obviously we have a little bit of soy in our diet.
Yeah.
but you don't want to drink a supplement shake that's supposed to be nourishing and for your health, and then it has something that can be harmful for it. And so that's what I try to explain to people is, hey, I'm not perfect. You guys are going to see me post about eating sweets. You're going to see me post about eating big, juicy hamburgers. I'm not perfect. But if it's going to be something I'm going to choose to pay for to use as my supplement each month, I want to know what's in it, and I want to make sure it's the cleanest thing that I can take. And so that's what's really awesome about our product, guys, is personally, before I started coaching, we were learning about being organic, and then I'm pretty hardcore as far as like organic goes, even with like our dish soaps, our laundry detergent, my makeup, everything that I can make natural or organic, I will. So it would be very hard for me to promote a supplement that I couldn't stand behind and believe in. So, and I often am open and I tell people that. And the great thing about Shakeology is that they didn't cut corners. So when somebody sits and tells me, well, it's just so expensive, I'm like, okay, this is how it is. They didn't cut corners, and you pay for what you get. So yeah, maybe you can go to GNC, or you can go to Walmart, or you can go to, another multi-level marketing company or whatever, and you can buy their shakes, and maybe you're saving a little bit of money, but at what cost? And so, I try to educate that as much as I can on my post and how important that factor is to me. And I think that my point usually comes across. Now, does that mean that they're like, oh, okay, I'm going to be able to do it? No, but I have planted a seed within. And majority of those people, maybe they didn't have the money at the time, but I planted that seed and they didn't go buy the cheaper shake. They saved up the money and they came back and they bought Shakeology. So I think educating people about the ingredients is the most important thing. And does it mean that I can sit and break down what every superfood does? No, but there's actually another top coach that she has said that's what she does in her challenge groups. Like every day she'll go over like goji berry or whatever, and she'll list what in goji berry. Am I saying that right?
Goji berry. Goji, sounds like a gummy bear. No.
Whatever. Goji berry.
But yeah, if you Google her, I mean, she just has a lot of stuff that you can read, but it's Shay Stanford. And there's some.
Well, I wasn't talking about Shay. I was talking about Tara. Tara, the one that came to.
Yeah. Shay Stanford, I think, is the original. Yeah. And I've gone back and looked up some of her podcasts from the National Wake Up Call and listened to some of her, and they're very informative.
Yeah, she has a website, and if you guys ever if you go through your Team Beachbody podcast and you pick all the ones that Shay is on, basically they always announce her as kind of the guru on Shakeology. She got into using Shakeology, and she actually had tried every supplement out there that there was, and they found a mass on her, and that really kind of triggered her to start to look more into her foods and do more research about things that were cancer causing. And so she became really passionate about Shakeology and really about educating people on the type of product it is. So that's one thing I'm really trying to focus on. I've even started to go live in our challenge groups and talk about Shakeology because, yes, it helps with cravings. Okay, it's amazing. It tastes good. It keeps us full. It's easy to make on the go. It causes us not to eat chocolate cake. Instead, we have a chocolate shake. But to keep retention, to keep people on Shakeology, they need more than to help them with cravings, because eventually some people might be able to, get by without having the cravings, or they may not have their shake every single day. And so my mom, I always refer to her because she would sometimes do half a shake. I'm like, Mom, would you sit and cut every single vitamin you had in half and take it that day? No, you wouldn't. So why would you only take half a serving? So one thing that I really want to try and educate our challenge group on is that it's more than just helping reduce your cravings, and helping you with your digestion, but it is providing you with a solution to the nutrition that you're missing and the things that you need to supplement. Because this guy over here and my mom, actually, who's a big vitamin person, and Chris has always been a big vitamin person, really got onto me because I didn't take vitamins. I have a hard time swallowing pills. All the gummy vitamins were full of chemicals, and I didn't really feel like I had a supplement out there that I could use or that I needed. So it wasn't until other people educated me on how, even though I'm eating a healthy, clean diet, I'm still not nourished enough to get everything that I need from the foods that I'm taking in. You have to be supplementing with additional things. And we all know, like, if you're supplementing with things that are offering superfoods and offering all the other vitamins and minerals and your probiotics, and you're getting it in one drink, you're going to feel a lot better too.
And, the creator of Shakeology, Darren O'Lean, he'll tell you, you're not going to see some of the effects and some of the positive things that Shakeology or getting on such a vitamin regimen like that it's going to do in, 1, 3, maybe not even 6 months. It's a long-term thing when you're giving your body exactly what it needs when you're so nutrient deprived.
Yeah. And the podcast that he does, the Shakeology podcast, is really good. It's very short. It's usually only 5 or 10 minutes on podcast. So it's not very long at all. And it's just little tidbits. And really, it's just information that will help you when you're in conversations with people.
Also on the Team Beachbody blog, he just wrote an article on there last couple of weeks. And his book, also, if you're looking for some really in-depth and you want to see how real deal he is and how legit the product is, I think reading his book will really open your eyes and be like, well, because we both read it and we're like, he's I don't know if I can find it. He's extremely extreme in his own personal, life, and he says it's not for everybody. But when he set out to create a product, he set out to create the best.
Okay. So like I said, I'm trying to go live more in our challenge groups just to kind of talk about that it's not just for cravings, but it's also to be supplementing for our health. And so for me, I began this journey to help people get healthy. And my thing was never really weight loss, but really to help and encourage people to know that they can do it. And I'm really passionate because my dad passed away of cancer at age 46. And so I really think that what you're eating and taking in is contributing to the causes of cancer, the causes of other diseases, heart diseases, of course. And there's definitely a link and a correlation between that. And I think that if we're educating our challengers and the people that we're talking to, that it's more than just helping you not eat a piece of chocolate cake, that it's actually something that's going to help you live longer, that they're going to find the value in it and why it's important to be taking it every day and not taking it every other day. Because I do find that happening when at the end of a 30-day challenge or whatever, somebody says, oh, I still have half a bag left. Well, how the heck do you have half a bag left? Because you're supposed to be taking it every day. And then they'll go on to tell me, well, I didn't take it every day. And so that's when I kind of go into, well, would you only take your vitamins every other day? It's something you really need to be taking every day. And just like Chris mentioned, you're not going to feel the full effects. Just like when I send somebody a sample, I've almost kind of gotten away from sending a single sample, but either offering them to buy the sampler pack, which is awesome because they get to try all flavors. And I think I'm going to start offering that as a challenge group price too, the sampler pack, because I have so many people that even who do buy a challenge pack, they want to try the other flavors. I think it'll be a great price for the free group. So I'm going to plan, I probably will give that away in our current free group because I think that would be a really good one. But you're not really going to feel the full effects until you at least take a full week of it, at least. And then, like Chris said, at the most, doing a full 30 days is what's really going to show you the changes in your own body.
This is the book. And, I listen to a lot of health and fitness podcasts, and I listened to one the other day. It was a little while back, and they actually quoted some things, and it's really reputable health and fitness podcast. And they actually quoted this. They didn't come out and say Shakeology in this podcast, but they actually quoted some things that Darren O'Lean did. And, if you know anything about Laird Hamilton or Gabby Reese, they're both, big proponents of everything that Darren has said. And, it's a good book, and I've read it 3/4 of it, and I'll probably start reading it again.
I didn't find anything in this book to be very important. Do you see I like underlined almost every single, and I made side notes. It's a really good book.
Good. You can get it cheap too, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's intense. And I told Chris there's a lot of things that he does. I'm like, man, I thought that I was pretty hardcore, but he's really hardcore. But it taught me a lot. And I think Cassandra is on here, and I think that she's read it before too, if I remember correctly. Haven't you read this? You've read it, right? Isn't it good? He's intense, though. He even scares me about water. I'm sitting there reading ingredients in water now. I'm like, you're scaring me about water. He's pretty extreme. So, but that is our creator, and the other co-creator is actually Carl Deichler's wife. So, okay, I'm gonna just kind of make sure I'm going through all my notes here. Okay, and then the other thing that I try to talk a little bit more about is I always show, like Reese takes Shakeology. I have cleared it with her pediatrician. I have so many people that ask me about kids taking Shakeology. I always say, consult your pediatrician. We already have consulted our pediatrician that this is what we're using as her vitamin. I don't know. Is the other thing top secret?
I don't know. I was going to think about the whole time.
So just between us and this little team call.
Oh my God, don't put this anywhere. I'm going to put this team call.
Well, I don't think it's a secret.
I think it is.
Is it a secret?
I think it is.
Well, Beachbody's coming out with something really cool. And I don't know if we can say anything just yet. But let's just say that it's going to be something really cool.
Very cool.
And it's all organic. Yeah, so I'm gonna just kind of leave it at that.
Better safe.
I don't know how much we can tell, but as soon as I can share with you guys, I will. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys in the Coach Line office. Share screen. And okay, so there's a lot of really cool marketing tools, and not just marketing tools. Really, to me, I would never send anybody any of this stuff unless they specifically ask me for something in writing, and some people do. What I would do is I would go through and read stuff myself, just because that's how you learn, right? Knowledge is power. And there's videos in here too. But for me, and I know, a few of you on here are hygienists or whatever your field may be, but when you first enter into your job and you start talking to people about whatever you're doing, for me, it was trying to educate people on them having gum disease. And at first, your confidence is kind of low. Like, in your head, that what they need, but you don't know how to say it. And so simply by just putting it out there and perfecting it over time is what it's going to take. And so when I talk to people about Shakeology, or I go on to our challenge groups and I do a live video, and you guys may be like, man, that sounded really good. It took me a long time to get to that confidence, because I got repeatedly asked by people, well, what's the difference between this shake? Or this is what I'm taking. Or have you heard of this before? Or why is this so much more expensive than this shake? And what I would do is I would go to Google and I would type in whatever shake they told me, and I would type in ingredients. So Herbalife ingredients. And then I would sit and I would look at the ingredients, and I would pick, okay, artificial sweetener. Okay, this says mono something, that's a chemical. Okay, this says it has soy, and that would be what I would tell them. Hey, this is what's in your shake. This is what's not in mine. And I would educate them on that part. It wasn't because I don't know what their shake tastes like. I don't care what their shake tastes like. I want to know. I didn't know what the calories were. I didn't compare that. I didn't compare the fat grams. I wanted to know what was in the ingredients. So another thing that you want to point out to people is chemicals too. Anything that is going to be like hydro something, mono something, that's usually going to be your chemical and your filler that they are putting into the product in order to make it cheaper. So when somebody asks me, why is this cheaper? It's cheaper for a reason. They took something out that is a filler that we do not do. We put whole foods in there. We put real food in there. We put superfoods in there. It costs money. And there's a lot of research done on our products. Even with the performance line, we're one of the few. We're only network marketing company that has an NSF certified performance line. If you guys don't know what that means, there's a great podcast that was done by the creator of the performance line. And he sits and talks about how, it's really scary. You can go into GNC, you can buy a pre-workout, you can buy a recover drink. And what happens is they basically throw whatever into this because it's not, it's not regulated that much in order for them to have to do that. And so for Beachbody to have the NSF certification, which means that they can use it in the NFL, they can use it in Ironman, it means that it went through extensive research to make sure that there is nothing harmful in there. And that everything as far as like what they put into it, if it comes from a crop or whatever, is highly monitored. And same thing with Shakeology. All of the crops, they go to the sites and they make sure that there's no pesticides in them. They check the soil. And
that's why, you can get some variance when you get your shake, and you might have a little bit of different flavor, a little bit of different taste. So you've been getting chocolate Shakeology for a year or so, and it's got a little bit of different taste. That's because, it is a real product. It is a raw product, and they're getting it, and they're sourcing it, and sometimes they need to change things. But, back to the NSF thing with the performance line, I mean, for Ironman to come out and say that, look, this is the performance line that we're endorsing, that's huge. I mean, Ironman, I mean, that's synonymous with, the best of the best elite athletes. So, I mean, there's a little trickiness of how to market that, that you can and can't do. But, it's just, what are you going to say?
And just to go off of like Ironman and the elite part of it, like we're also partnered with Apple, guys. I mean, that's pretty huge. I don't see any other network marketing company partnered with Ironman or Apple. So it just really tells you a lot about Beachbody. I think we're pretty awesome. Okay, so back to the Coach Line office. All right, so sales and marketing. You're going to go, I made notes of this. I actually discovered new stuff myself. You're going to go to product, tools, and kits. My internet's slow. And then you're going to click on this cute little Shakeology. And I'm sure that all these other little tabs have a lot of great information too. I have not looked at them yet. All right, so tons of stuff to educate yourself, even things that you can send to people. So I'm just going to click on Learn More. There's a product and training guide. Educate yourself on the family of Shakeology products. Learn about the ingredients, benefits, and what's on the label, and who to recommend the product to. Print it out and keep it in a notebook for easy reference. I've actually sent this to some people too, because it's really good. There's a lot of really great information on here. If it'll pull up. It's being kind of slow. Okay. So it sits and talks about the nutrient groups, what it includes, what it does in your body. Okay, so little things that breaks it down. Anytime that people say, we say there's probiotics and prebiotics in it, well, what the heck is that? What does that help support? What does that do? It helps regulate our digestive system. So you can even sit and really kind of not necessarily break down each ingredient, but it tells you what ingredient helps with the protein and amino acids. What is the antioxidants in the bag? I mean, this is just good stuff to sit and know. And really, I'm not gonna lie, guys, I need to sit and read this. I've looked at it before, but it's been a while. But it just helps you kind of talk a little bit more about it. It even helps you craft better posts when you're talking about Shakeology, instead of, just holding your Shakeology cup and saying, thank goodness I have my shake tonight for my cravings. Which, I've done posts like that too. I think those posts are important, but I think that there's a lot of shakes out there that help with cravings. What sets us apart? What makes us different? you know, we got to educate people in our post. Not, you know, there's so many other opportunities for people to go to Walmart or GNC and just pick out something cheaper because you said a shake helps with cravings. Well, why, you know, why choose Shakeology? That's a more expensive product. We have to educate them. And we can do that through our posts, and we can do that through talking to people one-on-one. Which is why I really like to sit and instant message people and talk about it more in private. So I'm not going to go through all of this, but just to kind of show you guys. And then ingredients and benefits chart. So this is a nice little chart. It breaks it down for you. You know, all this stuff is things that you can print out or save to your computer. And then there is the Shakeology blog. I don't know if you guys know there's a Shakeology blog, but there's a lot of really great recipes on there on how you can cook with Shakeology. So a lot of good stuff that if you're running your own challenge groups, you can actually click on the link and copy and paste the link, and even promote your challengers to go to the Shakeology blog. So even, you know, they may start digging into the ingredients or tips and tricks or reading the testimonials. How to share Shakeology. I think, let's see. Okay, so this is how to share Shakeology. Truthfully, guys, you can read over this, but I think it's the best way to share Shakeology is a personal experience. I don't like to really feel like I'm working necessarily from a script. I do have a script because I say the same thing over and over and over again. So I copy and paste it because I'm not going to retype out everything. But, you know, really kind of get your thing that when people ask you about Shakeology and save it to your computer, save it to your document so you're not posting the same or, you know, rewriting the same thing over and over again. And then there's even a challenge group guide. Okay, so then we got your next thing. I think this is pretty much, oh, there's a comparison chart. These comparison charts aren't something I would ever post on my Facebook page, but it would be a really good post in a challenge group. I need to post that in a challenge group then. Yeah. That's really good. I might do that tonight.
Just to take one ingredient ever so often and kind of break it down, talk about it a little, you know, and allude to the fact that, you know, this is in something that you drink every day, and it's a nutrient that you're getting every day. And you could do a post for months and months, you know, with just the ingredients alone.
Okay, let me go back here. And then there's a breakdown, and really you guys can sit and Google that. I mean, if it was me, I wouldn't go, and it's the ingredients in cafe latte or chocolate or vanilla. I would just type in Google and you'll be able to pull it up. And then also other frequently asked questions. It tells you to go to the Coach FAQ, Customer FAQ, Video FAQs. All right. Let's see. What is Video FAQs? And maybe that's what I clicked on yesterday. There are a couple of really great videos in here that I wanted to show you guys. Okay, this one's really interesting. This is actually with a co-creator, which is Carl's wife. She sits and answers some of the questions of how does Shakeology cost? Why does Shakeology cost so much? So it's very quick. We'll listen to it.
Why does Shakeology cost so much? It's written really well here, so I'm going to read it. Quality of ingredients, extra due diligence above and beyond to ensure safety, integrity of quality ingredients, focus on natural ingredients with no cheap artificial flavors, colors, sweetener, and preservatives. Need I say more?
So pretty much everything I just said. It's a focus on the ingredients. That's what makes the cost more. The integrity and the quality of the ingredients. Okay. I'm trying to think. There was videos that I wanted to show you guys, and maybe I made a note of where they were at. Play Carl's video help. Let's see. Let me see if I can find it, because Carl actually had a really good video. Carl Deichler, our CEO. And then there's a podcast. Then again, this Shakeology blog. Oh, here we go. It has to be under here. So other videos that you can send to people. This one's really good. The breakthrough. What can Shakeology do for you? This is a really good one that you can send to people that maybe wants more specific information about Shakeology. My computer is thinking. Sorry, guys. See how awesome this video is? Okay. Why is this taking forever? Well, I may not get to play that one, but that one's a really good one. It's about Darren Orlean is going around in all these different areas, and he's talking about the superfoods that he's picking and why he chose those superfoods and what's in them and what health benefit they have. So if you get a chance, I'll actually post it on the team page. That's what I'll do. What's in Shakeology? I don't think that one was what I was wanting to show you guys either. There was one. I wish I could find the one with Carl in it. And then, of course, there's other things that you can purchase Shakeology-wise, kind of like your wear and share. So most of us all have the shaker cups. But if for anybody who has an interest of doing a fit club, I was actually just talking to a coach about it earlier, we can actually purchase brochures. So brochures about Shakeology, all the marketing tools for that is going to be in there too. Let me see something, because I really wanted to show you clinical trial overview, benefit survey PDF. I really wanted to show you guys Carl's video. There's a lot to look at here, as you can see. But it really, I sat and looked at it last night at like midnight, and it didn't take me very long to go through. As you can see, I didn't write very good notes though, because there was one I wanted to show you. Shoot. Oh well. What I'll do is, because I think it's just my internet being funny because it's telling me I have a system error. What I'll do is I'll post it onto the team page, but it's basically Carl kind of saying the other thing is like there's so many other shakes out there, and things that people can go to, but why choose ours? So I think it's really important that if we are going to do, typically when I do a post about Shakeology, because I don't post about it that much openly on Facebook, my reasoning, and I think I've shared with the team multiple times, is that I was very hesitant for Shakeology. I didn't want to do it when I signed up to be a coach because I categorized it as all the other shakes, and I thought it had tons of bad stuff in it. And so if I would have seen my coach doing nothing but posting about that over and over again, I may not have reached out to her because I didn't want to do it. I actually, when we talked, I said I don't want to do Shakeology. I want to do the fitness program. I want to help people with fitness, but I don't want to do that. And so it took her talking to her one-on-one, and it took me doing my own research before I committed to actually using it. And so I feel like I don't want to turn somebody off. And there's also so many other shakes out there that I want to be able to educate them first on a one-on-one basis in personal message. So I don't overly post about Shakeology for that specific reason. And when I do post about it, I try to make sure it's an educational post. But I have talked a lot here lately about it helping me with cravings, because it really, like doing Core de Force, guys, when I was hitting it hardcore and I wasn't going off that eating plan at all, besides our wine club events, I had more wine than I should have. Not a lot, but more than 4 ounces. It really helped me at nighttime. So I was posting a little bit more about that. And I think that aspect is important to post about, but I think we also need to be educating in our posts too. And so if anybody's nervous about, how do I educate? Well, first you have to start with yourself. And so if you feel like you don't know a lot about Shakeology, then, you can't really look towards me or your sponsor. You have to kind of take it upon yourself and go and do your own research, because that's what I did. My sponsor, Brooke, she gave me a little bit of information. She was just getting started with coaching. She couldn't really tell me a lot. So I took it upon myself. I did my own research and looked into it before I fully committed to taking it. And I took it all during my pregnancy, and I take it all during nursing. So there's no way I would have done that unless I went and educated myself and learned more about the product. So I think it kind of boosts and it helps your own confidence if you guys are learning more about it yourself. Again, I think the most vital thing is to share why you use it, but to also be able to back it up when somebody says, oh, that's too expensive, or how come it has more calories than this shake? And the great thing is that we're doing this business on social media. So when somebody asks me that question, I'm not a deer in headlights. Even though on the other end of the computer, I'm a deer in headlights. At least that's how I used to be, is like, oh, I don't know. Well, why? I would go and I would find the answer myself. I wouldn't message, Brooke or ask anybody else. I would first use Google and try and find the resources myself. And then, then at that point, if I needed any additional help, then I may, reach out to my sponsor or ask on the team page. Not that you guys can't do that. I'm just saying that there's so much information that's already at the tips of your fingers that I think you're going to be able to absorb more if you go and sought out the information yourself first. And yeah, that's all I have. And so I think my main point and objective of this call is really trying to create more Shakeology retention among our challengers, because we don't want them just buying their first challenge pack and then discontinuing their Shakeology. That's not the goal of this. Our goal is to have them continue using it and hopefully to become one of our coaches and, promote doing health and fitness with us and be a part of this with us. And so ultimately that's what my goal is to help create Shakeology retention, help create belief among them in the fitness programs, in the supplements, and then to convert and make them coaches if I feel like they'll be a good coach. So now that I'm pretty stable in my business, I don't invite everybody into the coaching opportunity. I only invite people who I feel like could really be great coaches. Now, when I first started coaching, even if I thought somebody just wanted to do it for the discount and I knew they would never coach at all, I still offered the coaching opportunity because I was trying to grow my team. I needed some kind of foundation. But then as your business continues, you eventually get to the point where you're not really taking any discount coaches unless you feel like that's the way to ease them into coaching, which I approach that still a lot. And I know that they could eventually be a good coach. So hopefully that makes sense. Do you guys have any questions? No. I'm going to share these videos. I'm really bummed that they wouldn't play, but that's okay. That way you guys can go in and watch them and you can save them yourself too. And I will, in the comments, I will type out where I went to on the Coach Online office. That way you guys can write that down instead of having to go back and rewatch this if you weren't able to make notes. But I really think with Shakeology, you want to create curiosity and not resistance. So often when I do talk about my shake, or I do talk about it helping with cravings, I don't usually say Shakeology. I say superfood shake. I don't usually show the Shakeology on my cup where it says Shakeology. I'm really wanting more people to ask me questions or to kind of breadcrumb it in a little bit and to talk about it more frequently, but not necessarily talk about it, if that makes sense. Just to kind of create a little, yeah. Chris is over here.
I kicked back. My shoulder was sore.
It's okay. I see a couple other people in bed right now. All right, guys. No questions? No? All right. Well, for everybody that's in the free group, I think it's really good. Thank you so much for you guys that are putting in your posts. And I know I've asked a few coaches to share their stories about their journey and their transformation. And the first one up tonight was Jennifer Mullins. If you guys didn't get to watch her video in the group, it was really, really, it was really good. I knew she had a big transformation, but to see her pull all those layers of clothes off was like, it was pretty emotional. So it was a great video. But yeah, so I'm excited about this group. All right, guys, if y'all don't have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and jump off here. And once I get this recording up, I'll load it to the team page. And in the comments, I'll post the 2 videos that I wanted you guys to check out. And I'll post how you access the information that I was talking about earlier. All right? All right, bye.